So नाज़रीन, जैसे कि मैंने आपसे कहा कि today I want to invite another gentleman who is running for the council election, and it's very important for our community that the people from our community should come out for this important job, because our communities always want to be run for the provincial election, the federal election, but they don't looking forward toward the councillor or the city elections. This is the first time I see that a number of people are really coming forward, and they are trying their best to in Mississauga, in Milton, Oakville, everywhere. So one of the gentlemen who is running for Ward 11, I invited him today in a community talk program. His name is Imran Hassan. Let's meet with Imran Hassan. Thank you, Imran Hassan, for giving the time to the community talk.
Assalamu alaikum.
Thank
you, Arbai, for the kind invitation. A pleasure being here with your audience, with your viewers, and look forward to sharing my journey and my story and how we can connect and engage more of our community in the upcoming municipal election.
Thank you. So Imran, first I ask everybody these questions, right? And I'm asking to you as well, because I want to know, and my audience also want to know, that why are you running for this councillor election? Because I decided to run for the provincial, federal, but why you decided to run as a councillor of Ward 11?
So I'll start off by saying that, this is not my first campaign.
Okay.
I've run twice previously in Ward 11. Both times I've run and finished second behind the incumbent. And this time the incumbent is not running.
Okay.
So inshallah, with the support from the community and lots of hard work, we'll be able to cross that finish line.
Okay.
But to get to your question as to why am I running, I remember my father in 1973 when he chose Canada as his home and to establish his family. He didn't have very many role models, if any. He didn't have anyone who could make his life easier. He struggled and was, able to navigate through the system with much difficulty. And I just want to ensure that those who are newcomers who are coming to Canada after my father, that they're able to pick up the phone and call someone who can make their life easier, and someone who's going to help them navigate through the system and understand the different levels of government and understand the different services that are available at the local level of government. And so ensuring that we can have a safer and more vibrant future for our next generation, that's very important to me, and that's why I'm running.
So one of the really rising concern in the Peel region, especially in the Mississauga nowadays as well, and I saw that in your poster you are saying that the community service you provided, that the chair Peel Crime Stoppers, right? And the recent incident where the police officer was shot also in, I think not very far from Ward 11, right? Is Argentia, and I think so there's some area there. Is Ward 9, I know that.
Correct.
But it's not far from Ward 11 as well. So this is, and we will find that in every school, every high school, and people are selling the drugs, our children are involved in drugs. How can you really take over these issues in your community?
So community safety is a shared responsibility. It's not up to the police alone to keep us safe. We need to work together as a community. And organizations like Peel Crime Stoppers, which is community-led, allows that additional layer of resilience. We are helping protect the community, first and foremost, by offering an anonymous tip line. Many people don't know that 1-800-222-TIPS, which is 8477, is a toll-free number that is available 24 hours, 7 days a week. There are 37 chapters of Crime Stoppers in Ontario, 87 chapters of Crime Stoppers in Canada, and over 1,200 chapters of Crime Stoppers worldwide. So many people just aren't aware of these additional resources that are available to them to help protect their community. And the one thing about Crime Stoppers that people must know is that it is an anonymous tip line. You never have to report your phone number, your name, your IP address, or any identification. All you have to do is report the suspicious or illegal activity that's happening in your community. And I think this is a vital tool in the fight against crime. And as you pointed out, Arif Mia, that there are activities going on in our schools, perhaps even in our places where we go shopping and other places where we're congregating. And many people don't report crimes because, well, it's such a complicated process, and you have to then testify in court. And who wants to, deal with these kinds of situations, especially if it's organized crime? But if you're able to report anonymously, it's such a beautiful, way to be able to help protect your community.
So tell me that, Imran, when you're knocking the door to the different people, right? When you're going to their door and talking with them, what are some issues that you find it out that in your ward people are concerned about?
So I've been knocking on the doors for the last 10
Many
weeks.
years.
10 weeks.
Yeah.
But truthfully, I've said to people I've been door knocking for the last 8 years.
Yeah, that's what I said, many years.
Yeah, because this is not my first campaign. But in the last 10 weeks, what I've heard consistently, door after door after door, is neighborhood security and road safety. These are the two priorities that I've heard time and time again. And of course, I'm a small business owner myself, having established a company in Mississauga for the last 30 years. I understand the difficulties that businesses are facing, especially in light of COVID-19, and the struggles that people who are operating these businesses and trying to keep people employed and trying to find people to work, let alone trying to establish a new business in the middle of COVID, has been very challenging. And so supporting local businesses and being the champion for those small independent businesses is so very vital. And when I've been knocking on doors out of Sab, I have been talking to not only the residents, but also the business owners.
So one of the issues also Mississauga, which is always the concern about, is the high residential taxes, right? The taxes are going high. And they are complaining about, as compared to other cities, they are less and they provided more services. But here in Mississauga, especially the residential taxes are very high. How can you cap that one?
So I'm going to reflect back on some of my community service. As the chair for PO Crime Stoppers, I have helped lead many initiatives that have been zero-cost initiatives, but they have delivered an enormous amount of value to the public. We've organized fundraisers, we've organized community engagements, and one recently was a first responders and frontline workers recognition barbecue. We served over 1,000 people at zero cost. It was free to the public, and I really think these kinds of initiatives are very important. And as the vice president of the board for the food bank that serves Western Mississauga, Eden Food for Change, I help organize an annual breakfast fundraiser every year that raises to date over $100,000 for the food bank. And again, it's a zero cost event. And the reason I've mentioned these initiatives, Arifai, is that we can bring these kinds of innovations, these kinds of creative ideas to the local level of government and provide additional value at zero additional dollars to the taxpayer. And I think this is how we can manage and hold the line on taxes. And I think that's so very important, that we take an entrepreneurial approach, that we take a business approach, and how we can deliver more value for tax dollars for our citizens.
So one of the other concern which is on this councillor level that the people, especially the seniors, they are concerned about is the snow plowing, right? When the plower go, they will make a pile on the front of their houses.
Yes.
And they not clean up that one. And as an old age, this is difficult for them to really clean up that specific pile, right? And many people get a heart attack, and their age is not allowing them to really clean them. So really something city want to do something about that or not?
So again, I'm going to reflect back on community collaboration. I myself am an outdoors enthusiast. I have an ATV. And in the wintertime, when I'm not using the ATV, I put a snowplow on the front of it. Okay. And my son, who's 16, mashallah, at this stage, in the wintertime, I encourage him. I say, Beta, just please go out into the neighborhood, and wherever you see the snow pile at the end of the driveway, for those who are elderly, those who are vulnerable, those who may have special needs, those who just don't have the strength, please help remove the snow from in front of their
But
homes.
that's the personal level, Imran. But what about this as a counselor? What you can do for?
So I would extend that idea from my own home to people who have young people at home to encourage them to do such
But
good
then
deeds.
again, the responsibility, you are giving the responsibility to the people, not taking the responsibility as a counselor or as a council. What council can do on that?
Well, I think if we put it back to government, then that ultimately goes back to your point earlier about raising taxes. We don't want to add more tax dollars to our citizens. What we want to do is to build safer and stronger communities. And how we can do that, for example, is to offer volunteer hours to our youth who want to and require volunteer hours before they graduate from high school and even from one grade to another. So why not create a program where we can do in the summer lawn cutting services, in the winter snow removal services, and these are innovative ideas that help again build resilience in the community, because now the young people are getting to know their neighbors. The young people are learning to even respect their elders and those who have challenges in their community, those who may be vulnerable. And it just teaches good values to those young people that, you know, doing a good deed for your neighbor is so very important, and you're helping build a safer and stronger community.
Thank you, Imran, that giving us the time to the community talk. What's the last message you want to give your voters of Ward 11 on 24th of October, what they're supposed to do?
What I'd like to say is that the local level of government has the greatest impact on our day-to-day life, not just daily, but hourly. When we wake up in the morning and we brush our teeth or take a shower, that's a municipal service. When we drive our car out of our driveway onto the road and we see that pothole, call your councillor, because that's a municipal service. Or when you're walking on the sidewalk in the winter and it's cleared, that's another municipal service. And heaven forbid, should you have to use an emergency service like police, fire, or paramedics, these are all municipal services. So I encourage you all to consider coming out on October the 24th and voting for your councillor who represents your priorities. Thank you.
Thank you, Imran Hassan, and give us the time to the community talk in Toronto 360. And really, I enjoy your answers as well as your passion about this councillor election, and wish you best of luck.
Well, thank you very much. And if anyone wants to get a hold of me, my website is imranhassan.ca. My phone number is clearly published. It's been the same number for 20 years. And after you elect me into office October the 24th, that number will remain the same. It's 416-410-8762. And finally, if you wish to follow me on social media, I've been creating a lot of interesting content. You can do so at Imran Hassan YYZ. Thank you. Assalamu alaikum.
तो ये थे नाज़रीन इमरान हसन साहब, एंड आई रियली एंजॉय टॉक विद हिम, एंड एज मैंने आपसे पहले कहा कि हमारे बहुत अच्छे लोग जो हैं वो सिटी लेवल्स के ऊपर पॉलिटिक्स करने के लिए तैयार बैठे हैं, एंड इमरान इज़ वन ऑफ दैम, एंड ही इज़ रनिंग फॉर अ कपल ऑफ ईयर टाइम फॉर दिस पोजीशन ऑफ काउंसलर, एंड वी आर होपिंग दैट कि इस दफ़ा जो है कि वो यकीनन जो है ना अच्छा रिजल्ट लेकर आएंगे और जीतेंगे इंशाल्लाह, और हमारी कम्युनिटी को सर्व करेंगे। जो लोग भी इस प्रोग्राम को देख रहे हैं, मेरी उनसे इस्तदा है कि वो हमारे जो भी मेहमान यहाँ पर हमारी कोशिश है कि हम उनको कम्युनिटी के सामने इंट्रोड्यूस कराएं और उनके प्रोफाइल के ऊपर उनको इससे अच्छी गुफ्तगू करें। आई होप दैट कि यू विल सेटिस्फाई विद दिस डिस्कशन, और आफ्टर ऑल यू विल मेकिंग योर डिसीजन एंड सपोर्टिंग इमरान हसन ऑन 24th of October। इंशाल्लाह आरिफ जहांगीरी अगले हफ्ते फिर किसी नए मेहमान और नए दोस्त के साथ फिर हाजिर होगा। उस वक्त तक के लिए इजाज़त दीजिए। अस्सलामु अलैकुम वरहमतुल्लाहि वबरकातुहू।